Hello everybody, welcome to one of my videos. Thank you for clicking on this video. Now usually I just dive into a lot of online stuff that I've learned, or I share website traffic. But in this video right here, this is part one. I'm going to probably make 4 of these because I want to share a lot with you about the story about who I am, where I grew up at, and where I turned out, where I made a pivot in my life to where I wanted to do something else. So that's what made me want to make these videos, because I jumped on TikTok and I jumped on YouTube, and I never really formally gave an introduction of who I really am. I just kind of jumped right into the content. So this video is for those of you out there who probably procrastinating on starting something for yourself because of your past. Maybe your past was all messed up. You know, let's face the facts here. Not all of us sprout from a wealthy family. Not all of us are raised in the best part of the city. So if you could relate to that, well, go ahead and stick around for these videos, because I'm also going to share some stories here, some the true stories that I've never shared before. And you know, my life, I grew up in the city, Salt Lake City, Utah, and there's a lot of drama growing up in my life. So maybe some of you out there can relate to that. So I grew up here in Salt Lake City, Utah as a kid. You know, we did a lot of fun things growing up. We rode bikes. You know, this is back in the late 80s, 90s era. And we rode our bikes everywhere. So a lot of people also think Salt Lake City is, you know, they think it's all LDS, this and that. Well, Salt Lake also has bad areas with you know, drug problems, high crime rates, stuff like that. And as growing up, you know, we all get choices to make, whether we want to go that route or we want to stay out of that kind of lifestyle. So, but back to when I was a kid, you know, we rode bikes. We had a lot of fun. Well, when I was 6 years old, I was riding my bike, and I don't know exactly what happened that day. Still to this day, I try to remember what happened. But I was hit by a car when I was 6 years old. I was put in a coma for 3 weeks. Now, I want to share some of that coma, what I remember of having a coma. So a lot of people watch movies, you know, to each their own. Everybody has their own different things if they ever been knocked out for that long. But from what I could remember, so this is how I could put it to all of you out there, in case if you ever wonder what it's like. This is what it was like for me. This is my personal experience, 3 weeks. So imagine yourself, you're asleep, but you don't know you're asleep. You don't know anybody could wake you up. You don't know if you're going to wake up. It's just, I didn't have no dreams, nothing like that. It was just black. Like if I was in a deep sleep, and that's where it was at. I didn't know even though if I was breathing. So I wanted to share that because I know a lot of you out there have kids, and I was riding my bike. You know, this happens all the time too, where you hear of a child, you know, getting hit by a car or something like that, or somebody backing out of a driveway, and you know, it's just tragic. So I just want to make this video. Hopefully, you know, we all watch this video, and you know, we always put it in the back of our minds, you know, when we're backing up or we're driving, you know, be careful for the kids. So I wanted to put that in this video as well. Well, after that, my dad, I remember I got out. I was in a wheelchair for a while. I had pins in my leg to hold. I broke my femur. I actually got quite a few scars here. If you see the scar on my head right here, they had a tube in my head. I have some scars on my shoulders, all over my fingers. I got a lot of scars. I got a big scar on my leg because my leg split open and I was bleeding out of the main artery. And I needed a blood transplant. So somebody helped me out. Thank them. God bless them. And after I got out of everything and I recovered, I went from a wheelchair, then I went to a cast and crutches, went through all that. My dad did not want me riding a bike. He did not want me to ride a bike anymore. And I remember I wanted a bike. You know, that's what kids do, ride a bike. Eventually, it took some time. They went and got me a bike, and I was able to start riding a bike again. So we would ride our bikes all through the city. Now, when I'm talking Salt Lake City, I'm talking the main city, not the west side or the south side. I mean, we were like going up to the Capitol. We would ride our bikes up there, then we would ride down real fast. And that was part of my childhood. And we used to always drive, because right down the street there was a place, a Ferrari dealership. They sold Lamborghinis. And I always wondered, like, why is this place right here in our, kind of like near our neighborhood? Like, who could afford these cars? So it was, for years, it went through my head, like, okay, how do you own one of those? How do you, or, lease one? Or how do you get the money for it? Anyway, I was a kid, and there was a lot of dealerships. We had an Acura right there. We had, a lot of, there was a lot of nice cars, excuse me. And so I eventually started riding bikes again. It was fun. So we started doing that, and we always had dogs growing up. I'm more of a dog lover than I am a cat lover. So we had cats in there. Actually, my older brother, he was more like, I mean, he would get like reptiles. He was into snakes and lizards, and he was the he was the one who bring all the animals home, and they would become the family pets, I should say, or whatever. And that was part of growing up here in the city as a kid. It was fun. We grew up next to a park. Now, where I grew up at was, now they call it the ballpark area. If some of you are from Salt Lake, you know the area. Some of them, now that area right now is considered the highest crime rate in Salt Lake City. Back when I was a kid, it was just as bad. It was just as bad as that. We didn't really recognize it much because we were kids. So, the best thing, if you're into that, if you or your kid, or you're in an area where your child, you're worried about them getting involved in some kind of criminal activities because that's what they're surrounded by, the best thing to do on that is, just guide them a different way, shift them a different way, and let them know there's more out there. There's more out there. So as a childhood growing up, it was we had a fun life. I mean, my dad was always around, my mom, we weren't rich, but my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and they're all from Texas. So we had fun growing up. They were always there for us. My dad always made sure, even my mom, that we never went hungry. Now, I want to say, as time went on, about one time I did go really hungry. It was because I wasn't living with my mom and dad no more. We had to move from that area. But yeah, I just wanted to make these videos because I know some of you out there can relate. I mean, none of us are perfect. And I do want to say too that, I don't know if I said it already, but I'm no better than nobody out there. I'm no better. Life flies by so fast that sometimes we forget that we have a life story that we could share with others. Some people's life stories are, some are pretty bad, considering the environment they grew up around, and eventually that's kind of what their career is later in life. And I've seen it happen to many people. I've seen it happen. And on my next video here, I do want to talk about a pivot that happened in my life where it kind of messed me up as a kid, to be honest with you. It's when the drama started happening. This was more into my younger teens. I think I was 12 years old. So on my next video, I'm going to talk about that. So if you want, go ahead and watch the other video I'm going to have. It's going to be part 2. And with part 3 and part 4 videos, I want to kind of dive deep into what made me want to create a channel that I should have made in the very beginning. I should have documented everything that I learned and where I learned everything from. I'm going to get to that in these other videos, but from then to where I'm going now, I'm going to share with all of you out there who are watching this. If you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Leave me a comment, thumbs up, or wherever you're seeing this at. And I do want to mention too that I used to stutter a lot as a kid. I had a stuttering problem, and I would always get teased about it. So I still stutter every now and then. So if you watch some of my videos and you hear me, stutter, it happens every now and then. So Thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you on the next video. Leave me some comments. Thank you. Bye.